Everybody, today we are adding and subtracting rationals in real life. We see rational numbers frequently in real life. Brainstorm words or phrases that indicate a positive or a negative number and list them in the table. So in my table here for positive, we have credit, receives, deposit, revenue, income, salary, profit, increase, and gain. And for negative words, we have owe, debt, decrease, deficit, loss, loan, deduct, under, below, and dropped. It says think through the situation, then follow the rules for adding and subtracting rational numbers. Draw a number line or model to help. Number 1 says, during a drought, the local lake was 2 1/4 feet below normal levels. 2 weeks later, the water had dropped an additional 1 3/8 feet. How far below normal level was the water after 2 weeks? So what do we know? We know that it dropped 2 1/4 feet below normal levels, and then it dropped again 1 3/8 feet below sea level. So what do we want to know? We need to know how far did the water level change? Well, if I'm going to take this problem, this is going to be a negative rational number because it did fall. The water level fell. And then it fell again. In addition to this 2 1/4, it fell 1 3/8 feet. Well, when we're adding rational numbers, you guys, we have to change these mixed numbers to improper fractions, and they are both negative numbers, so that means my improper fractions are going to be negative. So the first thing I wanted to do was change 2 1/4 by multiplying 2. By multiplying 4 times -2 plus -1. This 1, this fraction right here, is also a negative. All right, but I don't need to have that negative sign because it's in front of the 2. Okay, so that's why we have a -9. So we changed our mixed number to an improper fraction, and then because this is in eighths, I have to generate an equivalent improper fraction. So if this was an improper fraction, these could be the same right here. But unfortunately, I can't add these two fractions. And why can't I add these two fractions together? Because the denominators are not the same. So I got to create another equivalent fraction. So I can't keep fourths. I need to change that fourths to eighths to match my denominator on my other fraction. So what I did for you was I created equivalent fractions, and I also created improper fractions so you can add. Now your job is going to be to tell me what -18/8 plus -11/8 will equal, following the same rules. And then you can write your answer right here. All right, number 2. Jonathan borrowed $800 from his grandparents to start a lawn mowing business in his neighborhood. After mowing lawns for a month and paying his expenses, he was able to pay them $188.56. How much does Jonathan still owe his grandparents? So this one was a little bit interesting to me because if you borrowed $800, technically that's a negative number because you borrowed it, so you really owe that money. However, it was a little bit confusing to me because if I did borrow money, I would be getting it in my pocket, so I would be receiving it, so it could be a positive 800 or a negative 800. So then he was able to pay them. So if you're paying somebody, it's definitely kind of like a negative, right? But it's a positive in their pockets. So it kind of works both ways, but you got to make sure if this is a plus, then this is a minus. And if this is a minus, then this is a plus. So we definitely have different signs here. So if I borrowed, I put that in red because it could be a negative. And paid back, I put that in blue, so it could be a positive. So what do we need to know? We need to know how much Jonathan will owe his parents? Well, what I did here was I did negative 800 because he borrowed it, and then he added $188.56. But if you're going to follow your rules, because these have different signs, if you want to look back, I'll just probably scroll up. If they have different signs, you can subtract and keep the sign of the bigger number. So really, you can have a problem that looks a lot like this. I'll try to retype. So we could have negative 800 plus the 188.56. That would be okay. All right. But really, that could be the same as saying 800 plus negative 188.56. And either way, your answer is going to come out to be the same, because if you're really combining these two numbers, so no matter which way you combine them, they're going to be the same. But one thing I do know is that on this one, we have negative 800, and on this one we have positive 800. But what I definitely see is that I have different signs. And if you want to look back up here, let's find the rules for when we have different signs. All right, if the signs are different, subtract and take the sign of the number with the greatest absolute value. So what we want to do is we want to take the sign with the greatest absolute value. So really, the one that we want to take is the 800. We kind of want to do this one. It's got the greatest absolute value. So I went ahead and did that. All right, and I'm going to say that 800 is positive here. All right. So we got 800, take away the $188.56. And so then you can say Jonathan owes whatever the amount is to his grandparents. And basically, you don't say Jonathan owes negative whatever. You say Jonathan owes, and it's usually like a positive number. So like if the answer was $10, Jonathan owes $10 to his grandparents. You wouldn't say Jonathan owes negative $10 to his grandparents, right? You could say Jonathan is in debt $10 to his grandparents. All right. But really, what they're looking for in this problem, which was a little confusing, I feel like, was the absolute value of your answer. Okay. So your answer kind of looks like a positive, but because of O's, it represents that it's a negative. Number 3, on Monday, Melody checks her bank balance and it has $437.23. She knows that she will get paid on Friday and earn $236.12. She pays her bills, which amount to $582.96. What will Melody's bank balance be after she pays her bills and gets her paycheck? Well, I know that she had a starting balance of $437.23. I know that she's going to get paid $236.12, and then she's going to have a negative, right, because it's a bill of $582.96. So what is Melody's account balance? Well, I take her beginning balance of $437.23, and I'm going to add the $236.12 because we got paid. All right, and you're going to get an answer right here, and I kind of started that for you, so you know it's a 3-digit positive, so we're going to have something about $100 something. All right, and then whatever you get here, you're going to put here and subtract her bills, and whatever your final answer is will go over here where Melody's bank account is. And to summarize today's lesson, you can always take any of the words from the top or any of this sentence and tell the difference between a negative term and a positive term. All right, guys, that's going to be it for today. Everybody have a great day and stay safe.